Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, CGR. If you're a new subscriber, make sure you subscribe. Obviously you've seen I got plenty of videos on this car. Hit that subscribe button. Not that many Caprice channels out there. Hopefully you subscribe to mine. So finally, I am going to do what I've been wanting to do for a long time. So we're going to change the steering wheel to a billet. Now the thing is, you will need, obviously I got my Forever Sharp steering wheel. I bought this one off of eBay, and you can get, it doesn't have to be from this company. Many other places sell aftermarket ones, but this will at least give you an idea of how to take off the steering wheel, what's involved, and everything and so on. Now, regardless of that, you're gonna need a steering wheel of your choice. You will need these bits right here. I bought these at Harbor Freight. They are a Starpoint bit. Not sure what size it is yet. I think it's a T30, but I'll let you know once we get there. And then for sure, we're gonna need a steering wheel puller. This one will be linked in the description. Got this off Amazon. It was only about like $16, $17. Just honestly, just buy it. Why go rent one from AutoZone? If it's $16, you have it forever. Put it in your toolbox and forget about it. But if you ever need it, you're gonna have it. So on with that. Now I do gotta warn you. Since we are gonna be removing the airbag, we're gonna have to disconnect the battery, obviously. And then to disconnect the battery, I'm gonna let the car sit for about 5 minutes just so it, completely discharges. After that, we will move on with installation. And I am gonna change that the odometer, the speedometer, sorry, the lights. I am gonna change them white. So fair warning, because we are removing the airbag, you're gonna always have an airbag light on. But what I'm gonna do is, since I'm gonna change those lights, not in this video obviously, so check out or subscribe so you make sure you see that video when it comes out. I'm gonna end up removing that light bulb that shows the airbag light on. So I'm just gonna take it off, because obviously me and you, well, you know that you don't got an airbag on, so that's gonna be off. So I'm gonna remove I want to get to disconnecting the battery. I'm gonna unhook the negative post of the battery. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm not gonna show it on video. It's just me removing the negative, and we'll move inside of the vehicle. All right, so I do got the wheel out already, but I'm gonna explain what I did. So it did end up becoming a T30. And here are the screws, but they're from the back. This is on a 94 Caprice. It could be different on yours. How it looks here is what I'm trying to say. But these two screw points are the same. For 94, as far as I know, 96, Caprice Sedan, Caprice, the wagon, even the Impala SS. So you get the T30, you loosen it up from the back, and it'll just go up loose enough. This doesn't come off though, it stays on there. Once it gets loose enough, it came off, and then the only thing connected to the airbag was this pin. It had a green tab, which I pushed out, and I just disconnected this. As you can see, that's all I had. And I just put it facing up, and I'll put it away somewhere else just in case. Don't want anything to happen. This piece right here, it was in here. It's a little spring. You basically push it in and you twist it. And you twist it because of this tab right here. You can see in there, there's only a certain way this comes out. That's why you got to push it in and twist it, and it'll come off. I could tell these are the horns. Obviously it's off because, I took the battery off. Only thing remaining is, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to try to put the key in here and see if the steering wheel moves, because it's kind of locked in place right now. And I kind of don't want to try to put the steering wheel. I want to try to put it when I got it straight. But if not, I might have to hook up the battery again just to straighten this out. Once I have it straightened out, I'll turn it back off. Anyways, that's going to happen now because I took the airbag off. So that's good. Well, make sure when you take off this nut, have this wheel straight. So I'm going to straighten out my steering wheel right now. And I'm going to get this wheel sitting straight. So that's what I'm going to do next. So let me do that next, and then I'll walk you guys through the next step. You know, I don't have a tripod or anything that you guys can like see. But like I said, I want to tell you the very important parts that you need to learn. So let me straighten this wheel out. I'll find out what size this is, and we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so it was a 21. So I did just put the key. I didn't have to reconnect the battery. And I straightened it out, took the key off, and then now it's locked into place there. So I got the steering wheel straight. And then just loosen that up. So next step, I'm going to set up the steering wheel puller. Show you how that works. And then that should pop that steering wheel off. And then we'll move on to the billet. Alright guys, so I got the steering wheel puller. The way it comes is each set of screws, like this one's paired with this one's paired with this one. The ones that worked on mine were these last two. And they basically screw in here and here. There are only two holes and you'll see them. So you screw them down about good halfway, not all the way down. And you're basically just pushing this down to allow this to get on there. And then this pin goes on here, and you give it enough pressure so now it's stable. So basically what's going to end up happening is, as I end up, you know, tightening, this is going to put pressure on here, and since these are here, this is pulling the steering wheel out. You get what's happening? So it's got enough pressure. Look at that. It's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to find out what size socket this is, start tightening it, and then it'll just pop right out. That's it. So let's do that next. Alright, so I got the wheel off. Just take your time, like I said. Don't be in a hurry. Make sure the bolts are straight, pretty deep all the way in. And then you center the other one, the little collar out here. And take your time. The size on the when I was twisting, I ended up using a size 16. So I just took my time, slowly twisted it, steering wheel still straight, pop, came out, there it is. So I'm going to move on to the next step. Before I move on to the next step, and then of course here was that lug that I took off. I just put it right here so I know where it's at. You know, obviously that was before we did that removal, but I just wanted to show you that I still have it. So before we do anything else, I'm going to show you what comes in the steering wheel kit. So you have this baggie right here. You're going to have an adapter, like I said. Just depends who you go with. Here's the one I went with. Give me 1 second. Oh, I got this. This is my horn. So that's what I went with. Let's see. Okay. Nothing else in there. So I got my horn. So I'll start laying parts around. Got this one that came with it. It's going to tell me what's positive and negative. So that's it in that box. Next box. You're going to have this. Looks like another cover. I'm going to start putting pieces to the side. And then you're going to have this. Just to the side as well. Like I said, I'm going to go through it one at a time. What you're going to do. And you're going to have this for the horn. Another baggie. Put this to the side. And then this. Put it to the side. And then I have this. This is going to be your spacer. So, put this to the side as well. Okay, that's it. And then, of course, you got the steering wheel at the end. So, I'm gonna do it. I can't do it while I'm holding the camera. But what I need you to understand is I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do one piece first, tell you what I did, how I did it. Next piece, tell you how I did. Next piece, you get the point. So that way, yeah, you're not seeing me live recording it, but I'm doing it one at a time, and you're gonna know exactly what I'm doing, one at a time, one piece at a time, till we finally get to the end. So first step, I'm gonna give the black bag. It's actually a clear bag that comes with this. So you take the wire out, and this piece, you pass it through this end and there. And then what you're gonna end up doing next is, it has a spring on there as well. Put the spring in there, and with the spring in there, you're gonna push this in there and then twist it. That's basically gonna lock it like on the old steering wheel that has this piece right here. Remember? So I'm gonna take this end, put it in the spring, push it all the way down, and twist it. So take your time. Let me do it real quick, and then I'll show you guys. So this is how it looks when you get it done. So you just twist it, it's locked into place, and then you're left with this. Like I said, man, take your time. That spring, might shoot out if you don't get it right. So that's why I said take your time. So I'll move on to the next step, and then I'll show you. Alright, so I ended up having to cut the airbag connector, as you can see right there, because it doesn't pass through there. You can see the connector's too big, so it's not going to pass through there. It's up to you whether you want to do it or not. I did it obviously because I'm not going to go back to that steering wheel, so I'm okay with it. So I ended up cutting it, and then you get this adapter, and then I pass the wire under here, and then the other one's just right there, and then I kind of centered it somewhat. Obviously, when it's not centered, you'll end up playing with it, but I'm just showing you the next step. Then you get this one, you press that over it. Just give me 1 second. Let me put this down real quick. So once you pass it over there, and you got these cables aligned, then you're gonna grab this spacer, do the same thing, pass it from here, line up the 3 holes, and then you're gonna end up putting the 3 screws that held this. So let me do that. All right, so I got those aligned. I have it on here. That's how it looks so far. Next step is, I believe it's this screw here, the nut. I'm gonna double check though, and then would be hooking up the horn. And basically here is where you're gonna end up putting your steering wheel. I don't think this goes down first, because like I said, the next steps are, once you put the steering wheel, that's still accessible. And the reason you want to do this first is you want to make sure you get these 5 holes that align, because then if not, you could put it and then play with it, aligning it. You won't know what I mean now. So I'm going to run the wire through here in the middle, put the steering wheel. If it's really centered, I might put the nut down just to hold it, just a little bit. And then I'll try to put it, and I'll see how the steering wheel looks, from there. And if not, because basically this is not bolted down to the car right now. This whole column is all together now, so I could take it off. So that's what I'm saying. When you put the steering wheel and you put it on, if it's not lined up, you can take it off with the steering wheel and just twist it a little bit. And then when you find where you want it at, you tighten it down. because like I said, remember this horn button, that horn button screwed on the outside. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So I want to put the steering wheel now, check where it's sitting, and then I'll check the play, and I'll see what I do with these. Alright, so like I said, I just put the bolts on just so I could see where it sat. So it wasn't straight, so I ended up popping it off, putting it down where it was straight, and then I ended up putting the nut, and I did it real slow. And you know, you want to break the clock spring, so I'm gonna leave it like that for now. I'm gonna take these off, and then reason I gotta take these off is because that's where the horn's gonna be on. I'm gonna wire the horn, and then you just gotta look at these instructions. It tells you what goes to what. So this one is that wire right here, and then you can see there's a little hole right there. In the one of the bags, there's a black one goes onto it, and you could put it right in there. So that's what I'm gonna end up doing. So I'll show you how that looks at the end. I'll take these off, do the horn. Alright, so basically all I did was, like I said, you'll have an extra black wire in there. It's gonna have a little Phillips screw. There's already a hole for the Phillips screw, and you just end up hooking it up to here. The wire that was already on the column goes into there, and new wire from the ground goes to there. Unfortunately, I couldn't show you because all these screws got to be off, and it just falls off. But just follow instructions. Like I said, if your little Chevy steering wheel is not straight, you can move this part, and there you go, straight. But the steering wheel is nice and straight. I didn't want to tighten it up anymore because, like I said, it's already kind of going in there. So I gotta hook up the battery next. If I feel it's too tight, I have to remove this and back off a little bit on that nut in the middle. And then, because that's, once again, that nut in the middle is what's putting pressure on this whole steering wheel. Like I said, this whole column's together. Honestly, it's not a hard process. The hardest part is trying to, because everything has to align and everything moves. You got the piece in the middle that moves, the shim moves, and then the adapter moves, and you got to put it together, put the screws on. That's it. That's really all it takes most of the time. But I'm happy with the results. Way better than that original steering wheel that was all faded. Like I said, I got the billet shifter, so this is gonna match this. So it'll look like with a billet shifter here. And I am going to do that video next, so make sure you subscribe because that's going to be coming up. And I just got to take off this black cover and take out the speedometer and put on the new white lights for the back of it, and remove the bolt for the airbag. So I'm just going to hook up the battery. I'm not going to worry about this column. I got a mess everywhere of tools. I'm not worried about that right now. I'm just glad I got it on. The only thing I want to do is put the thing on, put the battery on, and turn it on, and just spin the wheel here. See how it feels. Like, am I getting a lot of resistance? You know what? I don't know if it's a little too tight, and I can mess with that down the road. So I'm gonna hook up the battery now, and then let you guys know how it feels. All right, so once I tested it out, it was too tight. Like, it was really hard to turn the steering wheel, so I had to take everything off again. And I'm adding this part in the video, so when you're in this stage, you learn from my mistake. So this is what I mean. So when in the beginning, you see that gap? Here's that gap. The problem is when you start tightening this down, you don't know, but this thing starts going down. So mine was actually coming to the inside of the brown part. So I was going way too tight. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna give it little turns, like, you know, quarter turns, and I'm gonna see how far in it is here. Because if look at this gap. So when last time I had it, this was like going into the brown of this. So that's what was making it so tight. I couldn't even turn the steering wheel. Like, I could turn the steering wheel, but you needed a lot of force, is what I'm trying to say. So when you're in this stage, like I said, this piece, the little one that goes in, this piece and this piece all align. So you gotta align them with these. And what I found is wherever this logo is, the Forever Sharp, right in the middle was my middle point. Because what I did is I put my steering wheel and all the bolts align, and the steering wheel is perfectly in the middle. So take your time. Like I said, don't rush this. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna start pushing it down little by little. You don't want to go really tight. I'm not gonna go really tight. And then I'm gonna see how much play I have, like right here. And I'm gonna leave at least a gap in it. Try it out with the car on, move it, and that'll be that. So like I said, because once you start tightening this down, this starts to grip into the shaft of the steering shaft. So this starts to go in. So last time I went too far in here. So it was making the steering wheel really, really tight to turn and return. So hopefully you learn from my mistake. I was wondering, why does it have this big gap? But it's until you start pushing it, you don't even notice it or hear it, but it'll go in just quietly. And then by the time I figured it out, I already had the steering wheel all on, everything on. So I had to take this off. So I'm gonna do that. And then next stop would be showing you, here's that screw that I was talking about earlier for that wire. Here's that wire. It comes with a little Phillips. You just tie it on there. And this one's gonna be for the horn, and this one's for the other part of the horn. And like I said, you're just gonna follow the instructions on here. It tells you which one goes to what. That's it. All I gotta do is put the steering wheel on, and she's good to go. So let me do that real quick. All right, so I got the steering wheel on. Like I said, the little Chevy logo is not aligned that well. You spin it, but definitely that was my problem. So I turned the car on. Steering wheel turns like perfect. There's no problems at all now. So that was my main issue right there. So now I just gotta clean this whole mess that I got. But I've never removed the steering wheel. I've never replaced the steering wheel. Especially on an older car like this. Really not even that many instructions in this box. It's not that hard to do. It's just something you got to take your time on. And you can do it. So, I mean, if I could do it and I didn't know any of that, then obviously you can do it. Like I said, I did have to cut that airbag thing, but I'm not going to another steering wheel unless down in the future I ever end up getting some billet rims and I try to get a matching steering wheel. And even when you do get a matching steering wheel, you're just gonna have to remove these 5 bolts, put the other steering wheel on. That's it. Easy as that. Like I said, you will have your airbag flashing or it'll stay solid, but I already told you guys I'm removing that, and I'm just gonna remove the light bulb so the airbag thing's just not flashing all the time. I already know the airbag doesn't work, so doesn't matter to me. I'm going to remove that bulb. So obviously you do a modification like this, you know, you don't got an airbag, that's at your own risk. So you do this at your own risk. Way better than that faded steering wheel that I had. We'll change this to the billet shifter on a video coming soon. So if you haven't done it already, just like, share, subscribe, and check out more videos that I have on this car, on this channel. And I'll see you guys on the next.